The first thing that hit the floor wasn't the plate. It was my dignity. The sound just came a second later. Ceramic cracking food, sliding a room full of people going quiet in that sharp, uncomfortable way when everyone knows someone is about to be humiliated and no one wants to be the one to stop it. I remember standing there frozen, my hands shaking. My manager already stepping forward with that tight smile she used when she wanted to look reasonable while tearing you apart. And I remember thinking, not for the first time in my life, so this is how they see me. Just another clumsy body taking up space. Yeah, that was my starting point. Let me tell you who I was back then. My name wasn't the one people knew. I was a pregnant waitress in a high-end restaurant downtown, the kind of place where the lights are soft, the glasses are heavy, and the guests look through you like you're part of the furniture. I worked double shifts because rent didn't care about my back pain, and the baby inside me definitely didn't care about my pride. I wore my uniform a size too big so no one would comment, and I learned how to smile without inviting conversation because friendliness, especially when you're vulnerable, can turn into a weapon real fast. That night started like every other. Weak coffee-long walk, feet already aching before my shift even began. My manager, Dana, was waiting by the schedule board, arms crossed, eyes flicking to my stomach for just a second too long. "You're late," she said. I wasn't. But I didn't argue. Arguing only ever gave her more reasons. When she told me I'd be covering the VIP section, my chest tightened. That section was brutal. Wealth turned small mistakes into public executions. But I nodded anyway. You learn early that survival sometimes means saying yes before fear finishes its sentence. The dining room filled up fast. Candles lit, music, low perfume, expensive. I kept my head down, moved table to table, counting steps, counting breaths. Then I heard a laugh I hadn't heard in years. Deep, relaxed, familiar in a way that made my stomach drop. I didn't look up at first. I told myself it was coincidence. It wasn't. When I finally did, there he was. Evan Cole. The man who used to be my husband. The man who'd once known how I liked my eggs, my silences, my bad days. Now he was sitting there in a tailored suit surrounded by people who leaned in when he spoke. For a second, the room tilted. I grabbed the service station, breathed through it, then walked to the table like he was just another customer. "Good evening," I said, voice steady, proud of myself for that. "I'll be taking care of you tonight." Our eyes met. His widened just slightly. Not anger, not pity. Shock. He didn't say my name. That would have been too much. Dana appeared behind me immediately like tension had summoned her. "Is there a problem?" she asked. Evan shook his head. "No problem. It was a lie. We both knew it." I could feel his eyes on me all night. The way I moved slower than I used to. The way my hand hovered near my stomach without me even realizing it. Then it happened. A glass slipped. Water spilled. Nothing dramatic. But one of the men at the table laughed. "Careful," he said loudly. "Does this place hire anyone?" Now I apologized. Of course I did. Dana jumped in, all smiles, all fake concern. "Maybe try not to embarrass us," she whispered, sharp as a blade. "Smile more. You're in hospitality." Something inside me folded inward. Not broken, contained. That's when Evan spoke. Calm, controlled. "That won't be necessary. She's doing her job." The table went quiet. Dana's smile froze. I didn't feel grateful. I felt exposed. Later, when the dessert tray tipped, when the plate actually shattered this time, that's when the pain hit. Real pain. Sharp, terrifying. I bent forward, one hand clutching my stomach, the other bracing against the table. Someone laughed nervously. Someone muttered something cruel. Dana's voice cut through it all. "What did you do now?" And then my knees gave out. I didn't hit the floor. Evan caught me. His arm around my shoulders, his face pale, stripped of every confident mask I remembered. "She's done," he said. "She needs help." I tried to pull away. "I don't want your help," I whispered. My voice broke anyway. The video went viral the next day. Of course it did. A pregnant waitress collapsing makes great content if you're dead inside. The comments were worse than the fall. Lazy, dramatic, shouldn't be working, shouldn't be pregnant. The restaurant fired me through a text message. Your services are no longer required. No apology, no explanation, just gone. I sat on the edge of my bed, hands on my stomach, feeling the baby move, and for the first time in a long time I let myself feel angry. Evan tried to reach out. I told him to stop, not because I hated him, because I knew how easy it would be to let him take over to turn my pain into his redemption arc. I wasn't interested in being saved. I wanted the truth, and apparently so did he. Because something changed. He started digging into the past, into the reason our marriage ended. The accusations, the evidence I was never allowed to see. Turns out it had been manipulated. Someone he trusted had altered records, planted proof, pushed urgency until doubt looked irresponsible. While lawyers moved and headlines screamed, I focused on what I could control. I found temporary work at a community kitchen. Light duties, no uniforms, no judgment. Women there didn't ask for my story. They shared theirs. That did something to me. It reminded me I wasn't alone or weak or disposable. I was tired, yeah. But I was still standing. When Evan went public, he didn't mention me by name. He talked about systems, about power, about how silence protects cruelty. He stepped back from his position. People argued about whether it was sincere. I didn't care. What mattered was that the truth finally had room to breathe. When he told me the baby was his, I watched his face change in a way I'll never forget. Not ownership, fear, awe, responsibility. I don't want anything from you, I told him. I just won't carry the truth alone. He nodded. That was the first time he really listened. The case ended quietly. No dramatic music, just documents, testimony, consequences. The man who'd framed me was arrested. Policies changed. People moved on. That's how it usually goes. But my life didn't snap back into place like nothing happened. It grew forward. Slowly, deliberately. I got a permanent role at the community center. I moved into a small apartment with light in the afternoons. I went to prenatal appointments without counting every dollar. When labor started, I let Evan be there not as a hero, but as a witness. That distinction mattered. Holding my daughter for the first time, feeling her weight, her strength. I realized something that still makes my chest tight. Winning isn't about humiliating the people who hurt you. It's about refusing to become small because they tried to make you feel that way. I wasn't powerful. I was whole. And that was enough. So here's my question for you. When you see stories like this, who do you believe first, the system or the person standing alone inside it? Have you ever been judged, dismissed, or erased because it was more convenient than listening? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Argue if you need to. Share your own story if you're ready. And if you think stories about dignity, accountability, and quiet strength deserve space, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and keep the conversation going. Because silence only helps the people who are already winning.